Good evening. Welcome to this regular meeting of the Jefferson County Board of Education. It's great to see everyone here this evening. Call the meeting to order, and we have Pledge of Allegiance. I understand Drizwood is leading the pledge.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Madam Superintendent, Sir President. I would like to introduce our new officers for our Student Council. One of the things that they know in running for Student Council is this is their opportunity to come in and represent us as a school. So I'm going to introduce each one of them. Luke Vines is our Spirit Officer. Colby Carter, our President. Julia Lassen, Vice President. And Samantha Ogden, Secretary.
Welcome.
I'd like to introduce the two sponsors. It's Mrs. Weaver, our wonderful music teacher, and our wonderful counselor, Mrs. Petit. If they can stand up. And I did Mrs. Weaver does a great job leading them through the process, and it's quite interesting. We actually did electronic ballots this year. So we voted on iPads, and so they had their posters and all their election process uploaded, and all the helping hands, Mrs. Poteet found it for free, which is great. We love free. And they went around to the classrooms, and the kindergartners could scroll through who were the candidates on the ballot, see their faces, see their pictures, and it was really neat. We did it by paper last year, and that was interesting at best. But this year, I don't know, it was just amazing. The kindergartners knew who they were, and they, we had to be very careful about not voting for who had this in their picture or things like that. So,
and the graphs, they got to see the graphing, how the results turned out.
Yes, we were able to share that.
So how many votes did you get?
Well, I don't think they know their percentage. I think that's confidential.
Enough to win.
That's right. The important number.
That's right.
So I asked Mrs. Weaver just to share something a little special about each one of them and their candidacy and why they represent our school so well.
All right, well, thank you very much. I would like to echo Mrs. Osborne's sentiments. Thank you very much to the board members for having us here, and Dr. Gibson as well. These are 4 of our 5 officers. We also have classroom representatives, but I only invite the officers to come on this special occasion because otherwise we'd fill up your room. I will start with Mr. Vines down there on the end. He had a wonderful candidacy for Spirit Officer. He has great artistic abilities, and he's already put those to use in a suggestion box, which they brought up as an order of new business that they wanted to see a suggestion box, and they voted on it. We use Robert's Rules of Order in our meetings, and Luke just brought in a very creative cover for our box that he made over the weekend. So thank you for your artistic abilities, Luke. I will skip over here to Miss Ogden, right here to my left. She was elected secretary, as you heard. Already, she has participated in a lot of record keeping. She's had to type up minutes twice. She's had to read them at the meeting once, and she's done a great job coming and meeting with me outside of the meetings and also making up her classwork that she misses when she does that. So very nice job, Samantha. Right beside her, I have Miss Julia Lassen, who is our Vice President. Julia has been a wonderful addition. In fact, a lot of the business we've conducted in our 2 meetings have been motions that Julia has brought to the table. So she is a very active member already. And last but not least, of course, Colby Carter is our president this year. He is actually a returning member. He held the position last year of Spirit Officer, so he brought the experience to the table. I'm not quite sure if that's what won it for him, but he got it. Colby has been a wonderful leader. He's learning how to run a meeting using Robert's Rules of Order, and he's learning how presidents only get to break ties, they don't get to vote, and so that's been a little bit of a curve, but he's done an excellent job, and I'm so proud of all 4 of them. So thank you again for letting us come this evening and do the pledge for you.
Well, thank you. Well, Mr. President, would you please ask everyone to stand and join us for the pledge?
Please stand.
And when you're ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Yes, let's get a picture up here, please. Samantha, come right over here. Let's see. You need to hold this.
That's it.
Remember, it's going to be on the webpage, smile.
Right here.
Okay.
Nice job.
So, anyone running for school board in the future?
All of you.
Think about it.
Wow, they are wise. Look at that.
Yeah, that was smart. Thank you very much.
Mostly improving with every generation.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Osborne.
Who's taking her home? Oh,
Brandon's here.
oh, I didn't see him. Dr. Gibson, we have presentation on Relay for Life.
Yes, sir. I'm not giving that. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Heather Fauble, and I'm the 2017 Relay Lead from last year and have been elected and chosen for the 2018 lead position this year. With me, I have Penny Horner, our ACS staff partner, Nicole Ainsworth, who is this year's 2018 fundraising lead, Bruce Ainsworth, who's the 2018 logistics lead, and Kim Walls, who is our 2018 youth champion, makes up part of our event leadership team. We have 23 members that organize our event. But tonight we're here to recognize the Jefferson County school system and all the hard work that they did last year in raising $22,050 just from the Jefferson County schools. 14 schools, the central office, and the transportation department joined together to raise that $22,050. With those, we call them Relay Recess events. And with all of the hard work of the students, the staff, and the community, there were 48 nationwide events, and Jefferson County came in second place. So that's loud and proud. This past week, over $1,000 in school supplies were delivered to 6 school teams as an incentive for participating, and I see one of the team captains shaking her head. She received them at TA Lowry, but different schools, depending on the amount of money that they raised, part of the Staples rewards were given back to the schools for school supplies. So not only were they raising money to fight back against cancer, but they also got the incentive of having school supplies of no cost right there into their classrooms. Not only does Jefferson County Schools help us with raising money to eradicate cancer, but they provide support in so many other ways. We would like to thank Charlestown Middle School, the Transportation Department, and Jefferson High School for allowing the use of their buildings to hold our events and our meetings. Paige Jackson for the use of their stage. South Jefferson donated, and Mr. Jenkins actually even came and set up the large projection screen and the machinery for that. And then TA Lowry for their chairs. Additionally, we'd like to thank the maintenance department because they secured all of that material and brought it to the field for us to be able to set up and use for the Relay for Life event. It truly takes a community to fight cancer, and we are so glad that the Jefferson County Schools have joined with the American Cancer Society in this fight. Now, the 2018 relay season has already kicked off, even though we're still in 17. We take maybe like 2 weeks to take a little break and rest up, and then we're right back on the ground. So Jefferson County Schools, we already have 7 schools registered. In addition to the central office has a team registered and the transportation department. We being the American Cancer Society, have issued a challenge for all schools to have a registered team by November the 30th principals meeting. And then we will select one team and they'll get a case of paper to add to their supply at their schools for whatever additional needs that they need to use for. On December the 21st, we are working together to sponsor a Use Your Head to Fight Cancer campaign. We're encouraging all of our students and our staff to make a donation that day to be able to wear a hat for that school day that's right before our lovely holiday. So to add a little bit more excitement, but also to recognize and remember our survivors that are going to be going through that holiday season, either fighting the battle or going through the holiday season with those that they have lost. And then we can't forget our big event. Seems like a distance in June, but for us, it's like it's going to occur tomorrow. Our planning and everything is already in place. Our event's scheduled for June the 23rd to the 24th. We are currently waiting on approval to hold the event at Jefferson High School again this year. We invite you all to join us at Relay to celebrate our survivors, to thank our caregivers, to remember our lost ones, and most importantly, we are continuing to fight back so that our future can be cancer-free. We have, and we'll bring it up in just a second, we have a little fast fact information form that we're going to leave here that kind of lets you know quickly what the American Cancer Society is about, where does your money go to, and we're very eager to brag about that. We don't use a very small portion of the money, and you can go online and look at all of the money, and I could break it all down for you with my math stuff, but I won't bore you with that. But the administrative costs are very minimal, and the American Cancer Society strives to put that money back into research and support programs for cancer services, for cancer patients, and their families. So once again, thank you, Jefferson County Schools. We look forward to working with you again, and we are going to win this fight against cancer. Our last thing that we'd like to do tonight is we have a traveling trophy that we started last year that lists all of the schools. As you can see, she's bringing it up. It has the Relay logo on the back, and on the front it lists all the school teams and how much money they raised in the 2017 season, and we give that to the top fundraising school, and this year that school raised $4,446, and we'd like to present this trophy to T.A. Lowry Elementary. Shirley Cole was the captain. And
I had to stand by myself last year.
Yeah, we need to get a picture with the board. So you need to get a picture there, and then we need to get a picture of all of you with the board.
okay. They want us to go on that
Yeah, in front of, yeah, so that we get a.
In front or behind?
No, she needs to come right up.
Oh, she needs to be in
Here, I'll take a baby.
This is our future relayer, I think I'll make somebody else take a picture. He can take a picture.
All right. Well done.
You got a girl right next to the table? There we go. Every single one of those was
All right. Everybody big smile. Say cheese.
cheese.
And get one more up closer. And cheese. Beautiful.
All right.
One more for us. Done with passion. For sure.
Shirley.
Oh, wait.
All right. Ready? Three. Want another baby? Thank you. Get out of my hands very quickly. You're so beautiful.
I forgot one little thing. This past year, we also started a youth event leadership team, and just watching some of the students there from Driswood, that we have 13 students. 11 of them are our Jefferson County students that build our youth event leadership team. So they actually help with the planning and meet monthly and do that. So that's a nice little added thing to say that our students are participating in.
You can borrow her for the night.
We'll be here for about 10 more hours, but we'll.
Oh, no, I need the full night.
It has to be overnight.
Well, Heather, thank you for your leadership.
Thank you.
And we look forward to approving that request for June 23rd, 24th, and participating, seeing you all there.
That's done.
Thank
deal.
you so much.
But, and thank you very much, Ms. Olson. Thank you so much, Ms. Fauble. You, again, she's talking a lot about the other people who've done great things here, but Ms. Fauble has not only maintained a stellar career over at Shepherdstown Middle School and her work there through some personal trials of her own, but she hasn't missed a beat. You are, you're a force to be reckoned with, ma'am. Well done.
She's amazing.
Well done.
Thank you all so much.
Oh, thank
Yep.
you.
Night.
Ma'am.
Superintendent comments?
I only have one or two. Number one, a reminder to folks that on tomorrow, Tuesday the 14th, we will be having an event at Washington High School to honor our West Virginia Teacher of the Year, Miss Caitlin Thorcell. And we've made the announcement on our website and put out a press release, but I don't know how many folks are yet aware. We seem to be on a roll. Miss Amanda Weinbrenner, who is the PE teacher at TA Lowry, was named the 2017 PE Teacher of the Year for the state of West Virginia as well. So I, for one, am very happy to see the level of recognition that our academic programs are getting and our teaching staff is getting from the rest of the state. So,
Outstanding. Thank you. Anything else?
no, sir.
Approval of minutes. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, revisions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Citizens' comments?
None.
Okay. Consent agenda.
Yes, sir. We have one edit, and you'll see on number 9 under the list of board agenda items submitted by myself. There's simply a change in the date from November 20th, 2017 as the effective date to January the 3rd. It doesn't take effect until the start of the new school year. That's the only change.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Any questions on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Unfinished business? None?
None.
New business?
Your
Ms.
favorite
Fitzwater?
and mine, Miss Fitzwater, for her bi-monthly staffing request, which I'm only laughing to keep from crying.
Yeah.
For A, we have an action on approval of a Braille aid for North, I have to change the school. My apologies, it's North Jefferson Elementary, not Blue Ridge Primary.
Okay.
My mistake on that
And
one.
we'll just make sure we get that changed in the record.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We have a student that on November 13th, actually today, turned 3. The student is a little gentleman, he is blind, and we will need to provide a Braille aid.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Questions? Will we be able to find one?
I've talked to the teacher of the visually impaired, Ms. Carr, and we actually have one at Page, and the student that they're with right now the impairment is a little less. They don't need them as much. So we are actually going to move that person over to North for now, put in a general aid right now, a special ed aid, while we search for another Braille aid. It's kind of we had to look at the more severe, but we're working on finding another one.
And is this assistance that you'll pretty much need for the full half day or?
Yeah, it's 9 to 2.
Mhm.
So yeah,
How old is the child?
3.
3. Wow.
Again, when you're acquiring literacy is the time when
Right.
You
Yes.
need that assistance the most, and then we'll be able to taper it off as they gain those skills.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item B.
Item B. What I'd like to also give you at this time is part of the 2419, just so that when I reference it, you have it in front of you. As we go through, this is for the PMI room that is at Jefferson High. Currently, I know our numbers in special ed, if I'm just speaking to special ed, our numbers have increased 120 students this year. In doing so, we have increased our room there to 13 students. Our limit is 8 per room. So in this, what I gave you is just an overview. On one side, it's page 69 at the bottom, telling you what a level 3 the needs are, which are intense adult supervision, intensive instruction. These students do go out in the general ed, but they don't go out without an aide or someone with them. They are on the alternate assessment. And on the other side for you is what the policy calls for us for a level 3 and a secondary level program. The max we can have in each room is 8. Therefore, I'm coming before you to ask for an additional teacher and aide to create another classroom.
I see. Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Questions?
Right now, you're saying we have one teacher and one aide?
2 aides. I put an extra aide in while we came here, trying to get additional support.
Once we change this, it'll be 1 and 1 and 1 and 1?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll actually be paying for one additional teacher, but we already have the additional aide, correct?
Yes, I've been using it as an extra,
Okay.
a temporary.
And do we have a level 3 classroom at Washington?
We do not. We have a autism one.
You have a room, but not.
We have a room that specializes in autism, actually 2 rooms at Washington High that specialize with students with autism.
it's simply a division of programming.
Right, that's what you've done.
Yeah, we have a group of
Yeah.
students who need rather intensive care.
Those students are grouped together by level of need, then we can provide more direct services if a
But I-
BCBA is needed.
I suspect Mr. Cable's question was, do you have a classroom for this additional class?
That's what yes.
Yeah.
No, that program is at Jefferson High School.
Right, but you're creating another classroom. And we have one?
In other words, we have the space.
Space,
for
yes.
the
Yeah, I've already spoken to Mrs. Ross. And I apologize, that's not her name right now.
Fitzgerald. She still answers to us.
I was going to say, I'm sure she wouldn't.
Okay, I'm
text
like,
that.
sorry.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor say aye. Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this time, I'm not asking for anything, we're getting something.
If I don't, now wait just a second, you might be asking for something.
Well,
What,
sort of.
Item C?
Yes.
Okay.
We're actually getting something. It's a situation where Jefferson Utilities needs to get to Fox Glen. And since they need to get to Fox Glen to help with the water situation in Fox Glen, they're going to be going by north. And as they're going by north, they need to go through our yard, basically. And as they need to go through our schoolyard, they're going to, at that point, give us the installation of a 8-inch water line. No, it's a 10-inch water line, I'm sorry. All the way up to the building, which also will allow us in the future, if we ever add to that building at all, you have to sprinkle it. You will not have to put a 42,000 gallon tank like we had to put up on the mountain and at South. So those tanks would not be needed because you'd be hooked up to city water. And since you're hooked up to city water, at that point you don't need it. Also, we, every day in maintenance, go out to north and check the chlorine levels and make sure that our chlorine levels are correct and make sure any of the other levels of any of the other things that we've had to add to the water to make it, because remember, we're running a public water plant, basically, in every one of these locations that we do not have city water. And by getting city water in this situation, we will not be running a public water plant anymore at North Jefferson. So it's a real win for us. When I was first here about 10 years ago, C.W. Shipley, I had asked about getting them tied in. And the cost to tie them in was over $190,000 back then. So this would have cost us a great deal of money had they not needed us to get through there. So this has also been reviewed by our lawyers, and actually it was reviewed. They found a couple things they didn't like, sent back to the utility, and then brought back to us.
Okay, do we have a motion? And a second?
Second.
Questions?
Are they going to provide the water that's going to go in the water line
Yes, they are going to provide the water that goes in the water line.
without charge?
No. No, that's why, if you watched, I was very
Just
careful
trying to
when I
sneak
put
up
on
on
the
that,
thing.
weren't you?
I said they would be giving us installation of the water line. I did not
Right.
say they would be giving us all the water for free.
It was worth a try.
It was, I asked, but
And what's the timeline for this?
I forgot what they said. They had told me at first that it would be done this year, but it will not be done this
I
year
mean,
yet.
is there a water line coming through there now?
There is no water line coming through there now. No.
It's on a well?
It's on a well.
We're on a well, but what about?
That one is tied into the wells at North Jefferson, at
Fox Glen.
Fox Glen. And Fox Glen's plant is going defunct, the easiest way. It's had a lot of problems for a lot of years. And this is the best thing for that development,
So let me understand, so you're saying that
We won't be getting their water, no, this water will be coming from Jefferson Utilities. They're gonna go all the way up the road into us. They'll also be supplying the water for the asbestos company, insulation company that's across the street.
Hope it's not asbestos.
No, I'm sorry. The insulation company across the street.
That's
So
what I was wondering.
it all
How will
tied it
this
together.
affect
So,
all of that
yeah.
long term?
They have a ton of water. They had hit a well at one point that was, according to Jefferson Utilities, was quite, larger than it could run, major part of like the whole county. It was way over it was like 1,000 gallons a minute, which is, they must have hit into like a river underneath there. That's the only way you can hit that much water.
Do we have an estimate of how much the water is going to cost per month? Like what our usage
It would
is
be
gonna
the same as, I would estimate that number off of T.A. Lowry, and I can get that for you. But it'll be the same, because T.A. Lowry, for example, is using Jefferson Utilities water. It'll be the same.
No, it's probably, it'd be a little smaller.
Well, it'll be less.
I mean, a little less,
Yeah.
because it's not as big a facility, I
Right.
would anticipate.
But again, not running our own water plant is the real gift in this situation. Because when we had the C.W. Shipley, when the well went completely dry, we had to go drill another well and go 700 feet deep to catch it this time.
You remember that, Mark?
Yes.
He says with pain in his voice.
So Mark, your recommendation would be?
I think this is a good deal.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you,
Thank you all.
Mr. Dingus. And so you are asking for something, right? You're asking for my signature.
Yes, we will be
Just
asking for
checking.
your signature, that's, sorry. There wasn't any monetary number with it, but that was the gift for the day.
I get to do this for free.
Yes.
We have another, you're up again?
Well, actually, I to lessen the burden, I promise to take the lead on this one. Partially because we were involved in quite a bit of discussion about the change. In an effort to be as streamlined as possible, Ms. Fitzwater took a lot of time and effort to place as many of our part-time positions into full-time positions as we possibly could to be able to lower the impact. And one of the positions that we had a half-day position at South Jefferson Elementary School and half the day at Opportunity Learning Center. However, one of those is on an elementary schedule, and one of those is on a secondary schedule. And one of those is a current permanent level of service for the students who attend there, and the other one is itinerant because we have students who are there on typically an 18-week rotation and then rotate back out, who may or may not at any one time need special education services. So after we actually lost the initial person who we had in that position because they were not able to do all of the services within a regular work day because of the difference in the schedules between the elementary and secondary. We are requesting from the board that we split that one special education position into two separate half-time positions. We simply can't cover all the duties at those two places. And it has the added benefit of we'll be able to create those positions as itinerant, which will be less relevant at South Jefferson because that position's, we have a sufficient number of students. We don't think that's going to go anywhere. But at OLC, as students rotate through, sometimes we have a population there who don't have any direct special education services. So we do have special education teachers, half-day special education teachers sitting there. Whereas if we make them itinerant, we can use them as a substitute, which we are going begging with unfilled sub positions. If you saw the last weekly memo that I sent you, we are running about a 15% absenteeism rate on Mondays, Fridays, every single week. That is a significant number of subs for us to have to fill, and some of the hardest to fill are, number one, bus drivers, because we don't have that many folks with CDL, and number two, special education teachers. We just can't get the bodies to do it. So that will help address that issue for us. The difference would be with a single position. There's no difference in salary costs, but if both of those halftime individuals elect benefits, we'd be doing 2 benefit packages instead of 1. So there's a possibility that that is an increase in cost for us for that added flexibility.
Okay, so can we get a motion to consider?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. So what are we actually approving?
So what you are approving is you're approving us taking a full-time position and creating 2 half-time positions out of it.
An open position.
An open position, yes. We would then post for both of those half-time positions because the person in the full-time position quit. So we would post it as 2 half-time positions.
Okay.
But even if it costs a little bit more, it's going to be more workable for the system.
Yes, they're far more workable. We were, as I said, after much searching, we found someone to take it in the first place, and they held it for about 6 weeks, at which point they were unable to meet. We were getting complaints on both sides that they were unable to fulfill all of their duties because of the difference in elementary and secondary schedule. They just run on different times, and we couldn't get all of the services in one person's work day. So we were always either shorting the elementary or shorting the secondary, and it was getting very frustrating is the nicest word I can use for everyone involved. So we tried a couple of different things to make that situation work, and they weren't feasible. It wasn't fair to the employee, and it wasn't fair to our kids who weren't getting the services on both ends as we tried to sort of rig things around, and it just didn't work. So out of fairness to them, those two halftime positions can't work together. It's just not feasible.
Okay. Other questions? Ms. Fitzwater, you said, I think, just a few minutes ago, you had like roughly 120 new special needs students. So what's the rough percentage of the total student body of special needs now? Do we know?
For the county, about 1,384, approximately.
1,384?
Yes, sir.
So that's...
10%.
It's running about 15%.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, that's about 14, 15, yeah.
I wonder how that compares to other systems.
The-
It sounds like an awful lot.
The last year that the state gave percentages for, the state's was 14%.
Oh, so about even.
West Virginia has a higher percentage of children who qualify for special education services than the national average, which is about 12%.
About 12?
For the nation.
Right.
Yes, sir. So West Virginia's is a little high.
Considering nationwide against West Virginia, that's really not too bad a difference.
No, sir, it's not. There's been a significant increase over the years in special education eligibility as they broaden those definitions, and as sort of the stigma of special education has lessened, and the benefit and comfort level of parents who we keep raising the standards. We keep making it more and more and more difficult at earlier and earlier ages. You know, we need you reading by the time you get out of kindergarten these days. That crunch of younger kids performing more and more difficult tasks, when children can't do that and their parents are concerned about their performance, it's a push to get special education services. Plus, there's a large percentage of students who formerly simply wouldn't have been involved in the public school system, whose mental health or whose physical health is so fragile that previously they would have just been served in other systems, or they just wouldn't have even have engaged. But we have kids that we tube feed, kids who are intubated, kids who, have heart monitors. I mean, we have kids who have significant mental illness and These days, the expectation is that public schools, we have kids who have full-time one-on-one nurses for them to be able to attend school. And 5-10 years ago, that was unheard of, just didn't happen. So all of those trends are sort of leading to creep in those numbers. Is there?
Well, it's an important part of our mission.
Yes, sir.
So the question is on approval of the recommendation to split this full-time position into two half-time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. You anticipate executive session?
Yes, sir. On two matters, we have two possible expulsions for consideration by the board, and we have a discussion on land acquisition.
So we would anticipate action being recommended. So
Yes, sir, in both cases.
Then we would obviously return to public session for any such action. We'll entertain a motion to, well, before we do that, any comments from colleagues?
We have a recent meeting coming up Thursday in Romney.
No.
We will polycom from here.
Since I am driving to Morgantown yet again this Friday, we'll be polycomming for Thursday night from Romney.
Anything else? If not, we'd entertain a motion to move to executive session for consideration of student disciplinary hearing as well as land acquisition. We have a motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. We'll take a quick break.